Hello, and welcome to the Math 0362 Final Exam Review. First of all, congratulations on getting it this far. I hope this was a good semester for you. And let's see if we can end this semester strongly with the final exam, and you'll be ready for either college algebra or statistics next semester. The first question wants us to factor completely. So let me set up two sets of parentheses. The first number is 2x squared. The only numbers that multiply to make 2 are 2 and 1. So I have to use 2x and 1x. Likewise, the only numbers that multiply to make 3 are 3 and 1. So I have to use 3 and 1. Now from here, if I multiply this first 1 with this 3, I get 3. And if I multiply this 2 with this 1, I get 2. The question is, can 3x and 2x combine to make negative 5x? And the answer is yes, if they're both negative. So our answer is 2x minus 3 and x minus 1. For number 2, notice that every single term has the letter x. Also notice that every single term is divisible by 3. So let's divide every single term by 3x. And when we do, we're left with x squared minus 6x plus 5. Now let's factor. X squared has to break up into x and x. The only numbers that make 5 are 5 and 1, so I have to use that. And can 5 and 1 make negative 6? Sure, if they're both negative. And then this 3x that we had just kind of comes down, and we're done. Number 3 is a difference of two squares. So this will factor. 4x squared will break up into 2x and 2x. 81 will break up into 9 and 9. And for our signs, we will go plus and minus. Number 4, we would like to solve. Let's factor first. X squared breaks up into x and x. Two numbers that make 10 are 5 and 2. And I like 5 and 2. Because positive 5 minus 2 gives us 3. When I get to this step, let's treat this as two separate problems. And we will solve. Subtract 5, so I get x equals negative 5. And add 2 gives us x equals 2. So our answers are negative 5 and positive 2. For number 5, we like to find the domain. In order to find the domain, all you have to do is set the bottom to 0. And when we solve, we get x equals 7. So that means our domain goes from negative infinity to 7, then the union, then 7 to infinity. For number 6, we would like to multiply. But before I do, let's factor as much as we can. Like x squared minus 49, this can break up into x minus 7 and x plus 7. Likewise, x squared minus 3x minus 28 may factor as well. X squared breaks up to x and x. The numbers that make 28 are 4 and 7. And I like 4 and 7 because plus 4 and minus 7 gives us negative 3, the middle number. And this will multiply to x plus 4 over x. Now notice something interesting. On top I see x minus 7 and x minus 7. They will cross off. I also see x plus 4 and x plus 4. They also cross off. So all that's left is x plus 7 over x. For number 7, I would like to subtract, but I cannot yet because the bottom numbers are not the same. But to get them the same, let me multiply the first fraction by 6 over 6. So on top the 6 will distribute, so I get negative 6x plus 12 over 6x. And then for the other fraction, the minus will actually distribute, so it'll become minus x plus 5. And then from here we'll combine our like terms. Negative 6 and negative x becomes negative 7x. 12 and 5 becomes 17. And all of that is over 6x. For number 8, let's cross multiply. So a times a minus 4 will equal to negative 6 times a minus 8. I'll start by distributing, so a squared minus 4a equals negative 6a plus 48. Now in order to solve, I will need one side to be 0. So let's add 6a and subtract 48. So a squared plus 2a minus 48 equals 0. Well, a squared breaks up into a and a, and two numbers that make 48 are 8 and 6, which I like because I can do plus 8 and minus 6 to get 2. But from here we'll treat as two separate problems and solve. Add 6 here, and our answers are negative 8 and positive 6. Number 9, we have one conveyor belt that moves aluminum in 2 minutes, while another conveyor belt moves aluminum in 9 minutes. How long will it take to work together? Anytime you see these problems, first look at the times, 2 minutes and 9 minutes. And then all you got to do is do multiply divided by add. So we're literally going to do 2 times 9 over 2 plus 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 plus 9 is 11. So 18 over 11 is our answer. Number 10, we're given an equation, x squared minus 3x plus 1. For part A, we will replace all the x's with 3's. So we get 3 squared minus 3 times 3 plus 1. 3 squared is 9. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1. And all of that just becomes 1. For part B, we will replace all the x's with zeros. So we get 0 squared minus 3 times 0 plus 1. And that's just going to become 1. With f of negative 1, we will replace all the x's with negative 1. Negative 1 squared minus 3 times negative 1 plus 1. Negative 1 squared is just 1. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3 plus 1. And all of this combines to make 5. And with negative 2, we will get negative 2 squared minus 3 times negative 2 plus 1. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. And then plus 1, we get 11. Alright. Number 11, we would like to use the graph to find f of 2 and f of negative 2. For f of 2, let's first find out where x is 2. right here. We'll go up until we touch, and then come across, and I see we're pointing at 3. So the first answer is 3. Let's do the same thing with negative 2. Negative 2 is right here. Let's go down until we touch, and then come across. We have negative 3. Those are your answers. For number 12, we would like to solve by substitution. Notice that this y and this y are actually the same. So let me replace this y with all of this. So you get 3x minus 7, parentheses x minus 3, equals 17. And I'll distribute. Becomes negative 7x plus 21. I will combine like terms, so 3 minus 7 is negative 4x. And then I will subtract 21. So negative 4x equals negative 4. And then divide by negative 4. We're left with x equals 1. Alright. For number 13, we would like to solve by addition. But before we can use the addition method, x and y have to be on the same side. So for the first equation, let me subtract 3x. This gives us negative 3x plus y equals 7. What I'll do next is I'll put the second equation right underneath. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the top equation by 2. So that way we get negative 6x on top. That will cancel a positive 6x on the bottom. So we get negative 6x plus 2y equals 14, and the bottom stays the same. Something interesting is going to happen. Negative 6 and 6 go away. 2 and negative 2 go away. 14 and negative 14 also go away. Everything cancels out. And when everything cancels, that means there is infinite solutions. Number 14 would like us to solve by graphing. Let's graph x plus y equals 8 first. So if I ignore x, I would have y equals 8. And if I ignore y, I get x equals 8. Let's plot those points. Y equals 8 is way up here. And x equals 8 is over here. And I will connect the dots. Let's do the same thing with x minus y equals 4. If I ignore x, I'm left with negative y equals 4. And I'll just divide by negative 1 to become y equals negative 4. Likewise, if I ignore y, I'm left with x equals 4. And let's plot. Y equals negative 4 is down here. And x equals 4 is over here. Let's connect those dots. Okay, now to get the answer, let's look at the intersection, which is right here. I see the x value is 6, and the y value is 2. So the answer is 6, 2. Number 15. We would like to find an equation of our line, but they just give us 2 points. So step 1 we will have to find the slope. And it uses the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to have 3 minus 8 over 0 minus negative 1. Well, 3 minus 8 is negative 5. And two negatives make a plus, so bottom is 1. So this becomes negative 5 for our slope. Okay. Step 2 is we're going to find b. Our equation has the form y equals mx plus b. We know the slope, and we have two choices for x and y. Although I could use any one, I'm going to pick 0 and 3 to plug in, because anything with 0 makes it an easier problem. So y would equal to 3 equals to m, which is negative 5, times x, which is 0, plus b. Well, negative 5 times 0 is just 0, and 0 plus b gives us b. So b equals 3. And then for 3, we're just going to replace m and b. So with y equals mx plus b, I will replace the slope with negative 5 and the b with positive 3.